Animal trials. Medieval justice sometimes extended even to animals. Records and illustrations show pigs brought before judges, treated as if they could stand trial like anyone else. One of the most famous trials took place in 1386 at Falaise, Normandy, where a sow that killed a child was dressed in human clothes and hanged in public. Roosters were even tried. In 1474, at Basel, Switzerland, a rooster was condemned and burned after laying an egg, which people feared could hatch a basilisk, a mythical monster. And in one of the strangest cases, rats accused of eating crops were summoned to court in Autun, France, in 1522. Their lawyer, Bartholomew Chassagne, argued they had the right to live and could not safely appear in court while cats roamed the streets. To us it seems absurd, but to the medieval mind, animals were part of God's order. Punishing them symbolically restored balance and reassured people that justice, both divine and earthly, touched every corner of life. Trial by ordeal. In medieval Europe, guilt or innocence was often not decided by evidence in a courtroom, but through ordeals of pain. These trials were seen as God's judgment, and people truly believed the outcome revealed divine will. Manuscripts even show figures holding glowing iron bars before crowds. Others endured boiling water, plunging a hand in to retrieve a stone. If the wounds healed clean, it was proof of innocence. If they festered, guilt was clear. People could also be bound and tossed into water. Floating meant they were deemed guilty, while sinking meant they were innocent. In 1215, the church banned clergy from overseeing ordeals at the Fourth Lateran Council, and the practice quickly declined. But for centuries, medieval communities trusted fire, water, and scars over witnesses or evidence, a justice system written in wounds. Uroscopy. In medieval Europe, doctors treated urine as one of the best clues to health. Patients gave samples in glass flasks, called maculas, and physicians helped them up to the light, swirling and studying the colour, clarity, and even the smell. Some guides warned doctors to discreetly sniff the sample, since patients sometimes tried to trick them with wine or other liquids. Without blood tests or scans, urine was one of the few non-invasive ways to read the body. Manuscripts included urine wheels, charts that mapped shades from pale straw to dark red or black, each linked to a different illness or imbalance. By comparing a patient's sample to the colours on the wheel, a physician could give a diagnosis that seemed precise, even if accuracy was often hit and miss. To patients, the performance looked like learned science. Uroscopy became so iconic that the urine flask itself turned into a symbol of the medieval physician. Portraits and carvings often show doctors holding a macula aloft. To the medieval mind, it was a serious medicine. To us, it's part science, part superstition, and a reminder of how much authority once rested in a simple flask of liquid. Bloodletting. In medieval medicine, bloodletting was one of the most common treatments. Based on humoral theory, doctors believed the body's four fluids needed balance, and too much blood could cause illness. The cure was simple: let some of it out. The usual method was venesection, cutting a vein in the arm or neck and letting the blood flow into bowls. Surgeons also used cupping, placing heated cups over small cuts to draw blood out, or applied leeches to the skin for a slower, controlled bleed. Some guides even link bleeding points to astrology, marking sites with zodiac signs to decide where to cut. For centuries, people trusted bloodletting for everything from fevers to headaches. In truth, it usually left patients weaker than before, but to the medieval mind, draining blood meant restoring balance, a ritual they believed more than the results. Trepanation. Trepanation was one of the most extreme treatments of medieval medicine, drilling or cutting into the skull. Medieval healers believed it could ease seizures, treat head injuries, or even drive out evil spirits. Excavated skulls with healed bone edges indicate that some patients survived for months or even years afterwards. With no true anesthesia, only strong alcohol or herbal sedatives, the pain must have been excruciating. Yet to the people of the time, the logic was clear. Trepanation could release pressure inside of the skull or allow evil spirits to escape. It blended medical reasoning with spiritual belief, both aimed at saving the patient's life. Though brutal, trepanation was among humanity's first attempts at brain surgery. To medieval people, it offered hope in the face of suffering. To us, it remains a reminder of how far desperation and faith once pushed medicine. Ducking stools. From the 1500s through the 1700s, one of the most humiliating punishments for women accused of being scolds was the ducking stool. It was simple, a wooden chair fixed to the end of a long beam, set beside a pond or river. The woman was strapped in, swung out over the water, and plunged again and again while the crowd jeered. The point wasn't to drown her, it was public shame. Drenched and shivering, she was dragged home as a warning to others. Records show ducking stools were used in England and colonial America. Men could be punished as scolds in theory, but in practice it almost always targeted women. Though technically early modern rather than medieval, the ducking stool reveals how communities enforced silence, not with prison, but with cold water, humiliation, and the message that keeping quiet was safer than defiance. If you enjoyed this, feel free to stick around, as I post a new video weekly.